welcome to the Power of Pro Wrestling. This is Robert Rad.
And I'm Chris Heining. Appreciate you being here with us. Hey, we got a special guest in the house.
Yes, we do. Got my friend Joe here. Hey, Joe, how you doing today?
I'm doing just fine, Robert. How about you guys?
We're great. Well, let's get the show kicked off. If you've listened to this podcast, you always know our first segment. We talk about Raw, Impact, and SmackDown, and we always start with Raw. So we'll start with you, Joe. What was kind of your favorite moments from Raw this past week?
My favorite moment, of course, was when Stephanie McMahon and Brie Bella got into a little catfight, mainly with the slapping-wise.
Yeah, I mean, I did enjoy that too. Mr. Heineken, what was kind of your favorite moments from this week?
Well, other than the issues between Stephanie and Brie, the bigger issue was Cena Cesaro. That was the match. Granted, I was surprised that was the first match of the night, but that match really, really delivered. No, aside from the Heyman and Cena promos, bar none, Cena and Cesaro, both of them delivered, and to me, I was blown away by that match. I thought it was awesome. What do you think?
Yeah, and I'm in agreement with you too. That was points. Those were actually my favorite. Things from Raw was first the whole Cena promo, and then Cesaro interaction with that, and Heyman. That was a great opening segment to Raw, and obviously to end Raw with Stephanie and Brie and the match at SummerSlam between the two. I'm happy that Brie has her job back. It really aggravates me at this point that that's the main women's match on the card. Art and Paige and AJ Lee have not been announced for SummerSlam as of yet, and that really ticks me off that they're focusing on a total divas-like thing versus actually having the championship defended on SummerSlam. So, I mean, that's what I'm kind of ticked off, but I'm glad that was kind of a great moment.
Well, it could be a possibility that the belt, if it's not defended at SummerSlam, possibility the belt could be defended on either Raw or SmackDown, or better yet, main event.
Well, it deserves better than that, though. That's kind of what's my point. But we'll move on. And kind of Impact, we had a Destination X, and we'll kind of start with you, Chris. And what were kind of your thoughts on Impact?
Woo! Never a bad match on that program. The way TNA needed to be. Unrestricted, uncut, straight out, full bore action. Every single match. Awesome, nonstop. Throw all the promos out the window. Multiple X Division stars and everything coming back. I was impressed with that new talent. That to me blew me away more than anything. But another A-list show. Hey, Joe, what do you think about it?
I mean, I agree with you. You know, they finally put, their main concept, the X Division, back on the show. You know, a major concept to the program was way from the beginning to what it is now. You know, what we've seen the past few years, the X Division kind of diminished a little bit, but now they're bringing back what's a jump start of the company from the beginning. So I'm very impressed of it too.
Yeah, and I mean, I enjoyed Impact. Very good show. You had the Aries Lashley match. You had the tag title match between the Hardys and the Wolves. Great match. Like you mentioned, Chris, that not a bad segment or a bad moment on Impact. I was very impressed, and it's been a lot better than it has been in recent weeks.
But I think the focus is going back to what really got the company on the map, and that's the X Division, not the heavyweights. All due respect to the tag teams, even though they're rebuilding the tag team scene. The X Division literally just taking the lid off of the talent and say, hey, get on out there, give us a performance, give us a reason to watch, and they did it.
Okay, and we've got about another minute or two, so any moments from SmackDown that stick out, and we'll start with you, Chris, and then, Joe, I'll let you kind of finish it off.
Well, not so much of SmackDown, almost as like a capitalization of a recap show, to be honest with you. I mean, really wasn't that hype like Monday Night Raw was, but, I mean, it was still a great show nonetheless. Other than a Swagger and Cesaro match where Cesaro really, to me, it was a match he needed to win, but he couldn't get the win. But, I mean, to me, that was by far my favorite part of the show. Joe, what do you think?
I mean, I totally agree with you. SmackDown, to me, is like a preview show. Not a preview, but like a post show that kind of reminds fans of what happened to the main flagship of WWE. You know, if you haven't watched Raw, you, of course, can have Friday nights to watch SmackDown catch up to. Plus, also, SmackDown's known for the final show before a major pay-per-view. So, like, if you missed Raw and you want to catch up what's going on before SummerSlam, you go to SmackDown. So, to me, SmackDown obviously is a post-show to what the main show, the flagship Raw, was, presenting. So, I agree.
Okay, and you make good points. And really, kind of what I gather from SmackDown or what my favorite moments were, obviously, the Rusev Swagger, they have made that a flag match for SummerSlam. That's something I'm looking forward to. It really fits where they're going in the storyline right now. And kind of Jericho in the main event and him versus Eric Rowan and getting Rowan banned from ringside at SummerSlam with his match against Bray Wyatt. So that was kind of really my favorite moments, but you guys did make good points. So that's really all the time we have for this first segment. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be back after this.
In a world full of bad carbs, processed foods, and sugary treats, it's kind of hard to say no to all that temptation, right? Well, when I got to 435 pounds, was extremely overweight, out of shape, and depressed, it was time to say no more. Join me and my wife Sarah each and every week on YouTube as we share weigh-in results, health tips, and recipes. Join us from flabtofab.com.
Are you looking to grow your business? If you are, well then you're in luck. We here at Jonesboro Wrestling are looking for sponsors for our weekly podcast, The Power of Pro Wrestling. If you are interested in sponsoring this, you can tweet me at Robert Red Jr. or you can contact me via email at jonesborowrestling@gmail.com. Once again, you can contact me at jonesborowrestling@gmail.com.
And we're back with the Power of Pro Wrestling. This is Robert Red, and I'm still joined by...
I'm Chris Hannigan, and our special guest, Joe, is in the house. Let's get it rolling. We got 3 questions.
Yes.
Question number 1, my man.
Yeah, as you know, this is our discussion part, and we'll either let you, Joe, or you, Chris, start this off. And really, I wanted to start with WWE and kind of the impact of job cuts that have happened recently. Kind of what's your feedback and thoughts on that? Well, I guess we'll start with you, Joe. Kind of what's your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts is, for financial-wise, it's a bright thing to do. I mean, if you are a $1 billion company and you start losing money, the WWE is your baby. And obviously, you got to take care of your baby, and the only way to do that, you have to kind of cut away things, pretty much cut away the part of the meat of the company that you don't need no more, and keep what's making money, keep them running. I mean, obviously, people who's been in there and you cut them, you can always bring them back down the road once you start, building that money back, that financial-wise. But overall, I think it's a good thing for them to cut back some wrestlers, especially the ones you don't see much on TV, because what are they doing for you outside of the ring, honestly?
Yeah, you make a good point. And really, I wanted to look also on that impact, because, you did mention a good point of them, like, trimming the fat and stuff like that, and releasing wrestlers and stuff. It was really more office staff from what I read in the news. But really, what I'm worried about is with them being so hemorrhaging, or not necessarily hemorrhaging money, not necessarily like TNA, but how it's going to impact us, the consumer, in terms of the WWE Network. Will they raise the price and stuff like that of the WWE Network? We're paying $9.99 right now. What's going to happen if they keep losing money? And it goes up to $15 or $20.
Well, let's throw. Well, when you talk about job cuts, let's throw out this possibility. Why are you bringing in stars like you got 2 stars from Japan named Kenta and Prince Devitt? Are you really cutting your unused talent just to bring in those stars? Because eventually, WWE is going to be adjusting to what the NFL, NBA, NHL, a lot of sports entertainment has, and that's called the CBA, the Collective Bargaining Agreement. Now, that will kind of balance a little bit of moneymakers from non-moneymakers. But if you're talking job cuts, it really does affect it. But you have to look on, on the hiring side, not necessarily the firing side. Why are you cutting these guys and hiring this portion?
Yeah, and you do make a good point. And we're going to move on to our second question. And guys, if you are listening to this podcast and want to leave your feedback, feel free to leave your feedback, and we will try to read this on the air. In question 2, we're going to kind of shift to TNA, and kind of the big news in TNA is, as we know, in October they always are renewing their agreement with Spike, or their TV agreement with Spike comes up. Now, as of right now, they're still in negotiations, and kind of what my thoughts are to you, D, Mr. Heineken, I should say, and you, Joe, is if they're unable to reach an agreement with Spike Television, do you think the company will go out of business, or kind of what do you think the future of TNA is if they are unable to reach an agreement with Spike TV come October?
Well, I think they may do what Ring of Honor did in 2011 when Ring of Honor lost HDNet right at the beginning, and their final episode was aired in April. I think TNA will rebound. I think it would take multiple sources, not necessarily Viacom, because I had the opportunity to take a look at some of the Viacom networks. Spike's their only option, but CBS could step in, or somebody else could step in. So I wouldn't necessarily say TNA will be going out of business, but I think it will really, really hurt them if they did lose Spike. Joe, what do you think?
And I obviously agree with you. TNA is they're not as big as WWE, but they're a big brand in which a lot of people nowadays know who they are. If you go to, a DVD store, you see DVDs sold by TNA. You also read about it on website and stuff. So obviously they have the media out there, not as big as WWE, but they are out there. And if they don't have a contract renewed with Spike TV, there's so many other televisions or networks out there that can pick them up, or they can go back to the old ways of having weekly pay-per-views like they used to have until somebody does come up there and financially support them and give them a TV deal, obviously,
Yeah, and really, if you look historically, back at wrestling, when they lost television deals, they traditionally did tend to shut down. If you look at WCW being the main one, Nitro was canceled, and that kind of WCW got sold to WWE. ECW kind of the same way, got thrown off TNN and couldn't secure a new deal, and they went out of business. So, that's really where I was coming from. This question is TNA still going to have a viable future if they don't have a TV deal, Spike TV?
I also think, just to add very, very quickly, I also think that, especially with the advance, and this is not being the 90s anymore, as far as time changes is concerned, this is not, GWF, USWA, or Texas-based companies, which had ESPN at the time, even AWA. This is not that time anymore. But I think now, with TNA going back to its roots, they could secure a TV deal. But we know we got to go to this next question. Go ahead.
Yeah, this next question, we're going to shift back to WWE. And you mentioned earlier in the podcast the signing of Prince Devitt, Kent, and stuff like that. So I really wanted to reflect on that. And really my question that I wanted to discuss is, should guys like Prince Devitt, these new signings, have to go through NXT before they hit the main roster?
Ooh, that's a good question. I will respond with a yes and a no.
Okay, why yes and no, Mr. Heineken?
I will go yes for this certain purpose. Only if you go through, like, independent companies such as, I'm not necessarily Ring of Honor, but a lot of the other, state-based companies, before you reach the Ring of Honor level, I will say yes for that purpose. But I will say no for this simple reason, especially with established talents. Sin Cara being an example. He didn't have to go through NXT, especially when he's been selling out shows in Mexico and Japan. And a lot of the other talent as well. And surprisingly enough, Eva Marie, which a lot of us don't think, she can really, really perform that good in the ring. Surprisingly, she didn't go through NXT as well. So I would say there are a few exceptions, but if you are an established star, then you don't have to go. I feel you don't have to go through NXT. You should go to the main roster. But if you're not an established star, I will have to say NXT will probably be your best bet. I mean, Joe, what do you think about this?
And I totally agree with you. I mean, if you're an established superstar from Japan, Ring of Honor, TNA, or even in the past, if you were from a former wrestler from WCW days, ECW days, you ought to be on the main roster from Raw or SmackDown just because you are well known and you have the talent behind you. Obviously those companies trust you, and WWE should give that same trust to you, as a talent. Now, if you're a local wrestler from a local state or somebody that is not well known, yes, you put them through NXT, so you can kind of expand your character out to the fans who don't know you, so you can build that fan base. That's what NXT is for, is to build that fan base, so once you do become the main roster, you are known. You're not coming in there like, okay, who is this guy? Who's this guy on Raw? Who this guy who beat John Cena or Jack Swagger? You don't know these people. So that's why when you're not an established superstar, you go to NXT to establish that fan base to get where you are in the future.
And that's kind of where I was coming from this question. I definitely agree with both of you guys. Is if you have a Kenta or Prince Devitt, someone who already knows how to wrestle, and not necessarily well known, but knows how to work in the ring, there should be no reason that you have to send them through developmental before they go to the main roster. They should be able to shoot up to the main roster. But when you bring in models and people like Eva Marie who don't necessarily know how to wrestle, then definitely they need to go through developmental, learn the basics of wrestling, get some experience before they are brought on the main roster. But like Prince Devitt, Kenta, even with Cassius Ohno when he came through, Tyler Black, stuff like that, they should be able just to shoot up to the main roster.
And the styles differ, and I agree with you. Sorry to cut you off. The styles differ.
I see why WWE does it, because they want them to get acclimated to the style that they work. Because
it's like switching from the college to the pros. In college, you're free balling. In the pros, you have to change.
Yeah, and all good points. And that's all the time we have for this segment. We're going to take another quick commercial break, and we'll be back right after this. And rapid fire.
In a world full of bad carbs, processed foods, and sugary treats, it's kind of hard to say no to all that temptation, right? Well, when I got to 435 pounds, was extremely overweight, out of shape, and depressed, it was time to say no more. Join me and my wife Sarah each and every week on YouTube as we share weigh-in results, health tips, and recipes. Join us from flabtofab.com.
Are you looking to grow your business? If you are, well then you're in luck. We here at Jonesboro Wrestling are looking for sponsors for our weekly podcast, The Power of Pro Wrestling. If you are interested in sponsoring this, you can tweet me at Robert Red Jr. or you can contact me via email at jonesborowrestling@gmail.com. Once again, you can contact me at jonesborowrestling@gmail.com.
And welcome back to PPWP, the Power of Pro Wrestling Podcast. Chris Heiningen, Robert Ritz in the house. Also, my man Joe, special guest. This is what we call Rapid Fire.
Rapid Fire!
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 And here we go, folks. We talked earlier in this podcast concerning Total Nonstop Action Wrestling possibly leaving Spike TV. Well, we're going to stick to that in this special Rapid Fire question. Here it is. I name a network, we all will say, hey, possible yes, possible no, and the short reason why. Here we go. If TNA were to leave Spike TV, CBS.
I think CBS might be a good fit for it because you have football, it's a sports-centric network. So, I mean, I could see TNA on CBS, and especially if they had a second program, Explosion, fitting on CBS, local affiliate. So, yeah, I could see CBS, yeah.
No, I don't think so, because they already got enough on the product, so I think there won't be no room for TNA.
I think it's a possible yes for one simple reason. Other than the CBS Sports Network for digital players, I think it can also appeal to that local markets and get the 8, 9, 10 ratings that they always would, that wrestling had before. How about any NBC network?
NBC, I mean, that kind of goes back to the same point. I could see it fitting on NBC as well because it is a sports network and stuff like that. So, I mean, I could see a yes there. But, I mean, Joe made a good point earlier, which I'm sure he's going to make again. There's a lot of stuff on there with it being sports-centric, so.
Yes, I agree. NBC, no, because they got the same thing. CBS, they got so much stuff on their product. So, sorry.
Well, I would say no for this simple reason. WWE. That'll be the only reason. ABC.
Wow, that is a very interesting one. And I think ABC is really a different creature here. So I'm going to really flip-flop and say no, that I don't think it would really fit on ABC.
I disagree. I think it will be good because ABC don't have much of a sports program on their show, so I believe it'd be a good thing for them.
Well, I don't think it really fits on ABC because they're not really branded as that sports network like NBC and CBS are. So that's why I don't think it really would fit. Although they've had sports on there beforehand.
If ABC Sports was back, yes, but since it's ESPN on ABC, no. Any Fox network, and this gets controversial here.
Well, I mean, if you do go back to TNA, when they did get a TV deal, they were on FSN. So, I mean, that would kind of be going, I think in a lot of fans' minds, they would see it as a step back if they went to, like, FSN. But, I mean, being on Fox, they have UFC and stuff like there, and Spike used to have UFC. So, I mean, Fox could potentially be a good fit for Impact. So, I mean, I could see where it could work.
And for once, I agree. I think Fox would be a good network for them. Obviously, like you said, UFC, and they're a good product that also expand TNA out there.
I see it as a possibility of a yes with only one exception. It'll have to be Fox Sports 1 or Fox Sports 2. No other Fox Sports network. Oh, here's where it gets really crazy. Any major sports network.
Ooh, any major sports network. It got me on this one. I mean, with TNA being a sport, or I'll kind of let you give your feedback so I can think about this one, Joe. Because I'm really kind of stumped on this one if I would say yay or nay.
Honestly, yes. Any sport network, I agree, because, a lot of sport networks have college football, regular football, basketball, baseball, all those sports. What about wrestling? That'd be a new product for their shows.
Yeah, I mean, helping to expand it, I mean, you do make a good point. So, expanding their product and branching out the wrestling, I mean, it could help them out. So,
if it's the right sports network, because I know ESPN is not on that list. If it was on ESPN, they'll probably have to do it almost like a dead spot during the day. But it'll be tough to call. How about the Turner Networks? Any one of them?
Ooh. Well, I mean, TNA has been compared to WCW in the past in a lot of ways. I mean, it going back on Turner, and I'm sure Turner would love to have wrestling back on his network. If he could be financially involved in it, Turner, it would work. TNT, it would be just like WCW. So, I mean, that could be a good thing for them to go to a Turner network.
And for once, I disagree. Why would they go back to the WCW days when you see what happened to WCW? They pretty much went out of business. You want TNA to go back to TBS or TNT and go out of business just like WCW? I don't agree. I don't think it would be a good business for them.
Well, I would say depending on the Turner Network that they put them on, and also because of the affiliation with CBS, because we've seen what they've done with March Madness. This could be a possible good step. And, folks, that concludes this rapid fire segment. And always promote love any and everywhere you go. If you don't like something, shut up, quit talking about it, and do something about it for a change. Got beef with somebody, squash it. It ain't used to trailing on to the next future. If you could do all of that and keep your head up, keep a positive attitude, and keep yourself moving forward and not going back, you, my friends, are cornbread approved. And that concludes this episode of the Power Pro Wrestling Podcast. Thanks, Joe, for joining us. I'm Chris Heineken.
And I'm Robert Red, and like Mr. Heineken said, thank you for joining us, and we will catch you next time on the Power Pro Wrestling Podcast.
See ya!